So, very good morning to all my dear students. I welcome you all in the Industrial Pharmacy 2 lecture. I hope that all of you are doing well, all of you are safe, all of you are at your home only. You might be attending all kinds of online lectures, taking notes, preparing the assignments, and submitting it on time as per the instruction of your particular teacher. So with this, let's begin with the today's lecture that is related with the industrial pharmacy. So we are on to the pilot plant scale-up techniques. And in this already we saw this particular thing, definition, objective, steps in scale-up and the general consideration. In case of general consideration, the different 10 considerations we had already covered. I will not go into the details of the same because already we had covered in yesterday's lecture 2. And yesterday in the third lecture, we had gone through the scale-up processes of the scale-up considerations associated with that of the solid dosage forms. In that, we saw the considerations as far as the tablet is concerned, where we had already covered the point that is the material handling system, dry blending, equipment, scale-up consideration, then granulation, binders, and the drying considerations. In case of drying consideration, we saw the tray dryer and the FBD. So during all these stages, what we have to consider is that the airflow, the duration, the exposure, and the depth of the granules which are subjected to that of the granulation and the drying processes. Now, in today's lecture, we have to cover the considerations during the scale-up associated with the solid dosage form in terms of particle size, blending, and some of the specialized granulation procedures like say slugging, dry compaction, compression, and the consideration associated with that of the tablet coating. And suppose if time permit, we may start with the scale of considerations associated with the liquid dosage form system or the liquid system. So let's see that what are the different considerations we need to consider when we are scaling up the solid tablet dosage form. So in case of tablet dosage form, the consideration has to be paid as far as the reduction of the particle size is concerned. Because there is a significance of the reduction into the particle size. If the particle size is getting reduced, the surface area that is getting increased. When the surface area is getting increased, the rate of dissolution and the rate of solution formation that will be getting increased. But this may not be the case that every time it remains, because the particle size reduction that may lead to the development of the charges onto that one, and these two leads to the agglomeration. So agglomeration that will hampers the process of disintegration and the dissolution, that is going into the and forming the solution. So that is the important thing. So every time this may not be applicable, there is not just a thumb rule, but most of the time it will works. So compression factors that may be affected by the particle size distribution, these are the flowability. If we are getting reducing the particle size, the flow properties that will get affected. And that is what is the reason that in order to get the flow, good flow, we are producing the granules. Compressibility, yes, compressibility too, that will get affected because of the reduction into the particle size. So that's why we need to consider, we need to understand the different parameter like say the bulk density and the tap density. So which will be having its significance in case of the various dosage form like say the capsule and all during its filling. Uniformity of tablet weight. In order to get the uniformity of the tablet weight as well as the drug concentration of the API, we are producing the granule because that will lead to the even distribution of the API. And if we are going for the reducing the particle size, so that may lead to the affecting the uniformity of the tablet weight. We may get the variable size, variable weight tablets, content uniformity, tablet hardness, and tablet color uniformity. The first step in this process is to determine the particle size distribution of granulation using a series of stacked sieves of decreasing mesh opening. Yes, the sieve with the coarse particles that will be kept at the top and into the decreasing order from top to bottom, the sieves from coarse to that of the fine particle that are going to be arranged in order to segregate, in order to separate, and in order to distribute the particles of uniform sizes. The particle size reduction of the dried granulation of production size batches can be carried out by passing all the material through a oscillating granulator, a hammer mill, a mechanical sieving device, or in some cases, a screening device. So again, the purpose behind all these is to get the uniform sized particles. As part of the scale-up of a milling or sieving operation, the lubricants and glidants, which in the laboratory are usually added directly to the final blend, are usually added to the dried granulation during the sizing operations. This is done because some of these additives, especially the magnesium stearate, they tend to agglomerate when added in large quantities to the granulation in a blender. The lubricants and the glidants, sometimes these are going to be added into the granules and not into the powder, not into the blend, because that will lead to the formation of the agglomeration. And if the agglomeration property being imparted, so that will affect the flowability. Blending. Blending is nothing but the process of mixing, the mixing of API with that of the excipients, or the process of mixing of the coloring agents with that of the other excipients. The necessity is that everything that will be uniformly distributed, for which the blending is preferred and when blending process is carried out. Type of blending equipment often differs from that using in laboratory. In any blending operation, both segregation and mixing occur simultaneously, are a function of particle size, shape, hardness, and density, and of the dynamics of the mixing action. Particle abrasion is more likely to occur when high shear mixers with spiral grooves or blades are used. The particle abrasion. When a low dose active ingredient is to be blended, it is to be sandwiched between two portions of directly compressible excipients to avoid loss to the surface of the blender. With the amount of active ingredient API that is very, very small, then in that cases, it should be sandwiched. It will be sandwiched between the two portions of the directly compressible excipient. Sandwich means it is going to be mixed with that of the other excipients, which are directly subjected to that of the compression in order to avoid their loss. So in case of the blending, the following parameters, they should be considered and they should be paid attention. The blender load. How much amount is to be loaded as per the specification. the blender size. For say 50 kgs, how much size of blender is to be used? For 500 kgs, how much size of blender is to be used? For 50 kg, we cannot go with the 500 size of blender. Based on the size, the particular blender that is going to be chosen. Mixing speed. The mixing speed, it will not only carry out the blending, but if it is too much high, that will lead to the reduction of the particle size too. So that's why the mixing speed, whether it is moderate, whether it is slow, whether it is fast, so based on the requirement of the particular agent and their properties and their co-properties, that should be determined and that should be decided. Mixing times, whether it is 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or 50 minutes, based on that, as per the specification of the manufacturing records, manufacturing documents, batch manufacturing record, BMR, this has to be undergone. Bulk density of the raw material, that must be considered in selecting blender and in determining the optimum blender load. If the bulk density that is too much low, that means the volume of the particle is too much high. And in this case, there is a need to go for use of high volume blenders or the blenders with the large capacity, so that during the process of blending, their volume that will get reduced, if it is so, based on their properties. The characteristics of the material. So again, that is the basic properties, inbuilt fundamental properties of the materials, which will plays an important role in case of the selection of a particular blender and the consideration during the process of scaling up. During the solid dosage form manufacturing, like say the tablet, we have to go through the various kinds of the procedures, like say the granulation procedure. We will be having the different types of the granulation procedures. There is a wet granulation, there is a dry granulation, there is a direct compression, there is a slugging, isn't it? So based on these based on these procedures that we are using, we have to go for considering the points. Now, in case of dry granulation, when we are going for the slugging, what is the slugging? We had already studied in the last semester. The slugging, it is a process in which the large tablets that are going to be produced, right? So that is the slugging. So what concentration is required during the scale up as far as the slugging is concerned? A dry powder blend that cannot be directly compressed because of the poor flow or compression properties. This will lead to the process of the slugging. So the powder that cannot be directly compressed. The reason is that it is having the poor flow properties. This is done on a tablet press designed for slugging, which operate at a pressure of about 15 tons. The process of slugging that is going to be carried out with the help of a pressure machineries, the tablet press, which will be having the pressure of around 15 tons, compared with a normal tablet press which operates at a pressure of 4 tons or even less than that. So if we compare the process of slugging and the process of tablet manufacturing, there is a 3 times more pressure which is going to be used during the process of the slugging compared to that of the pressure which is involved in the process of formation of the tablet. Slug range in diameter from 1 inch for the more easily slug material to 3/4 inch in diameter for the materials that are more difficult to compress. If the material, these are easily compressed, their size is up to 1 inch. If they will be having the difficulty in the compression, then it should be the, or it will be the 3/4 inch of the diameter, and require more pressure per unit area to yield the satisfactory result. Yes, very true. Because If these are difficult to compress, then again we need to apply much more pressure in order to get the particular slug. If an excessive amount of fine powder is generated during the milling operation, the material must be screened and fine recycled through the slugging operation. During the process of the milling, during the process of the size reduction, sometimes what will happen, the fine particle is going to be produced. The materials, the excipients, the ingredients, these are costlier one. So if the fine particle, if the fine powder is getting produced and if it is not useful for us, we cannot just throw it out. So we have to subject it to the process of screening, and then we have to subject it to the process of the slugging, so that such powders that can be recycled for the process, through the process of slugging. Dry compaction. Now, dry compaction, it is a process when there is no need to add the wet binding mass. The directly compressible excipients, these are selected and these are subjected to that of the compaction. The granulation by dry compaction can be achieved by passing powders between two rollers that compact the material at a pressure of up to 10 tons per linear inch. For tablet production, it is 4 ton. For dry compaction, it is 10 ton. And for slugging, it is the 14 ton. This is most important because sometimes this may be asked into the MCQ, that at what particular pressure the compaction of the dry powder that is to be carried out, and the options will be 4 ton, 10 ton and the 14 ton. So you need to select the proper and the correct answer. So that is the 10 ton in case of the dry compaction. Materials of very low density required roller compaction to achieve a bulk density sufficient to allow encapsulation or compression. So which material? Material with the low density. They require the compaction to achieve the bulk density. So these are subjected to that of the compaction so that their bulk density that is going to be reduced. One of the best example of this process is the densification of the aluminum hydroxide. The aluminum hydroxide density that is getting increased because of subjecting it to the process of compaction before its use. Pilot plant personnel should determine whether the final drug blend or the active ingredient could be more efficiently processed in this manner than by conventional processing in order to produce a granulation with the required tableting or encapsulation properties. Because these are the people who are directly handling all these things. So the pilot plant personnel, the people who are working into the pilot plant, they are in a position, these are the best judges to determine and to decide this. Compression. The ultimate test of a tablet formulation and granulation process is whether the granulation can be compressed on a high-speed tablet press. During compression, the tablet press performs the following functions. What are the different functions that are going to be happening, that are occurring during the process of tablet formation? First is the filling of the empty die cavity with the help of the granules. The second, if necessary, every time, this is not compulsory, this is optional. If necessary, it is subjected to that of the pre-compression so that the actual amount of drug, whether it is loaded into the die cavity or not, that can be determined. The third stage, that is said to be the compression of the granules between the upper and lower punches. the granules, they will be getting compressed. So how this process that will occur? First, what are the different consequences? What are the different sequences? Or what are the different steps during the process of the tablet compression? The lower punch that will moves down so that the die cavity that is getting created, die is getting filled. Then the upper punch that will comes down, it will enters into the die cavity. Then the lower punch that will comes into the upward direction, and between the lower and the upper punch, the tablet that is getting compressed. So these are the sequence that are occurring during the process of compression in tablet formation. The next step, that is the ejection. When the tablets are produced, they will be subjected to that of the ejection. Ejection of the tablet from the die cavity and take off of compressed tablet. When evaluating the compression characteristic of a particular formulation, prolonged trial runs at press speed equals to the to be used in a normal production should be tried. So all these processes, they will require the trial runs in order to decide, in order to determine the compression characteristics. Whether the tablet which are produced, that are getting produced, of the desired consistency, of the desired specifications or not. So that can be evaluated through the trial runs only. Only then are potential problems such as sticking to the punch surface, tablet hardness, capping, weight variation, lamination, all these processes that can be detected. So this trial run, that is most important. Several times the tablet has to be subjected at various rotations, at various speeds, with the help of the various or the different kinds of the compression pressures, so that the specified tablets that can be obtained, that can be produced. High speed tablet compression depends on the ability of the press to interact with granulation. Now, during the process of compression of the tablet, what are the different parameters that need to be considered and monitored? So, in that, it is the speed. Now, based on the speed, we can go for considering along with the speed the different parameters. The very first is the granulation feed rate, by which at what particular speed the material that is to be feeded to that of the system, to that of the compression machine, to that of the die cavities. So this feed rate that will ultimately determines the properties. Delivery system should not change the particle size distribution. If it is a hopper, during the process of running of the compression machine, it will subject it to that of the vibration, and this vibration will lead to the segregation of the particle. The coarse particle, they will move at the top, and the fine particle, they will remain at the bottom. So what is the result of this? There is a variation into the content, there is a variation into the weight as far as the batch is concerned. First portion of the batches, or the first lot of batches, or the first few rotations, which will leads to the producing the tablet with the low hardness, with the low weight, whereas at the later stage the tablet which may be produced, that will be with the higher weight, and that will be with the higher hardness, because of subjecting the powder and the granular material respectively. So that is what is said to be the delivery system should not change the particle size distribution. System should not cause segregation of coarse and fine particles, nor it should induce the static charges. Yes, this is what I had already explained just now. The die feed system must be able to fill the die cavities adequately in the short period of time that the die is passing under the feed frame, isn't it? If the feed rate that is not properly adjusted, that will leads to the underfilling of the dies. So the feed rate that will ultimately determines the rate at which, or it is the particular rate which is responsible for complete filling of the dies. The smaller the tablet, the more difficult it is to get a uniform feel, a high press speeds. If the tablets are small, that means obviously the die cavity that will be small. So based on the die cavity, we need to adjust the feed rate, because for small, it will require the very least amount of powder material or the granules. For high-speed machine, induced die feed system is necessary. Again, this is vice versa. If the speed is too much high and if the feed rate that is remaining constant, again that will lead to the process of underfilling of the dies. So which will giving the tablet with the low weight. These are available with a variety of feed panels. So based on the type, what is the speed, whether it is automated, whether it is semi-automated, whether it is high speed, whether we have to produce the smaller tablet, whether we have to produce the larger tablet. So the feed panels or the feed system, their variety is available and they should be chosen based on these requirements and with the variable feed capabilities. So the optimum feed for every granulation that can be obtained. The optimum feed is required, the optimum system is required. After the die cavities are filled, the excess is removed by the feed frame to the center of the die table. The excess amount of granules they has to be removed, and that has to be removed with the help of the feed frame, with the help of the scraper, which are in association with that of the feed frame. Compression of granulation usually occurs as a single event as the heads of the punches pass over the lower and upper punch under the pressure rollers. Yes, between the two rollers, upper and lower punch, these are responsible for compressing the granule to produce the tablet. This causes the punches to the penetrate die to a preset depth. The particular, it is the adjustment of the punches which will determine the die capacity, and it is preset, that is already set, that can be adjustable based on the requirement. Compacting the granulation to the thickness of the gap set between the punches. The rapidity and dwell time in between these process, in between this press event occurs is determined by the speed at which the press is rotating and by the size of compression rollers. Large, larger the compression roller, the more gradually compression force is applied and released. Larger the compressions roller, the more gradually compression force is applied. So again, it will depend on to the rollers. What is the size of rollers? What is their diameter? What is their radius? What is their weight? So based on that, it will changes and the force which is going to be exerted by these rollers. If the roller size is small, they will exert the less pressure. If these are higher one, if that is larger one, it will exert the more pressure. Slowing down press speed or using larger compression rollers can often reduce capping in a formulation. This is because of what if we are using the larger compression rollers, they can reduce the capping in formulation. What is the reason behind the process of capping? The entrapment of the air. If the air that will not get escaped and the escapement of the air that will depend onto the pressure which is exerted and the force by which these are getting exerted. If the size of rollers is small, the less pressure is going to be exerted, less force is going to be applied. So that will not completely causes removal of the entrapped air. But if we are going for using the larger size compression rollers, the force exerted that is high, the pressure exerted that is high, so which will leads to the process of removal of the entrapped air very easily, quickly, which will leads to the process of solving the problem of capping. The final event is ejection of compressed tablets from the die cavity. During compression, the granulation is compacted to form tablets. Bonds within compressible material must be formed, which results in sticking. High level of lubricant or overblending can result in a soft tablet. Decrease in wettability of the powder and an extension of the dissolution time. High level of lubricant or overblending can result in a soft tablet. If you are adding the lubricant much more, they will lead to the production of the soft tablet. Overblending, much more mixing, that will lead to the producing the soft tablet. And decrease in wettability, that is the water holding capacity of the powder, and an extension of the dissolution time. If the water holding capacity is getting reduced, so definitely the disintegration will get reduced and the dissolution time that will be increased. When the dissolution time that will be increased, it is taking much more time to form the solution and ultimately to show its absorption, its appearance into the systemic circulation and its bioavailability. Binding to die walls can also be overcome by designing the die to between 0.01 to 0.05 inch wider at the upper portion than at the center in order to relieve pressure during ejection. Yes, very true. If at the top the diameter is slightly getting increased, so when the compression that will occur at that time, this space between the inner wall of the die cavity and between the outer side of the punches, so that will be causes easy removal, easy ejection and the easy come out of the entrapped air. So this is what is all about the process that are occurring during the compression. Now today we will stop at this particular point only. So because of the time limitation, because of the time constraint. So I request you all to please make a habit of creating the notes during the lecture itself. So thank you very much. Have a good day to all of you.